Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new punk grime rock album by Bob Vylan, Humble as the Sun. So I probably should have worded it as grime and punk rock, not punk grime rock, because it just sounds like some weird abomination of the two. But actually I think these are two genres that work quite well, especially since the artist dabbles a lot into the hip hop territory as well. But Bob Vylan, never listened to them before, but I've been aware of their existence for a few years, especially with the last album, Bob Vylan Presents The Price of Life. Now, Bob Vylan is a duo which consists of two brothers, Bobby Vylan and Bobby Vylan. They both are called Bob Vylan. That's why the duo is called that. And not the fact that I just thought this was like some silly play on Bob Dylan, the very famous musician that I'm pretty sure if you haven't heard of, I'm very surprised. We have got the brand new one though by Bob Vylan, Humble as the Sun. It's honestly a great listen, especially since I've never listened to them before, and it is quite good. I've heard of the previous album, and the fact that it got into the top 20 UK charts, which is pretty good for a very small artist, but Bob Vylan made it clear. If you didn't know that, it's very clear on this album that did, because literally in the first four songs you'll hear it twice at least. But minus that, I don't think that really changes anything. I think the lyrics and bars are still interesting. Some stuff I'm not like a huge big fan of, but I do understand where some of it's coming from, especially with tracks like Rain. Pretty much on that one, just talking about how the living crisis, and then we also have the fact that the royal family, especially Queen Elizabeth, just kind of sits pretty in her home. Well, did. Pretty sure Queen Lizzie isn't around, but I mean, she lived a very comfy life until age 95. So it's trying to make a point and awareness that a lot of people are suffering, especially with the fact that they even mention the line of a lot of people are just pretty much living on the edge of the knife, because there is a lot of knife crime in UK. Matter of fact, that's probably one of the most famous things we're known for. Remember the old stereotypes where we just, like tea, eat crumpets, football not being called soccer, and just a bunch of other stuff, as well as, the stereotype of bad teeth. It went from that to pretty much on about, like, chavs, roadmen, and knife crime, especially knife crime. And this has been a huge pretty much a huge thing that Bob Vylan are trying to explain here, that clearly we're in a bad situation. But then you also get some other songs as well that I just think are fantastic. I don't like look for meaning in every single thing from every single lyric, but I do understand what they're going for a lot of the album. But I think for the most part, if you're just kind of here for a solid listen, it definitely is that. I think it's got a bit of everything for everyone. Humble as the Sun's not really punk or rocky. It's more of just kind of a hip hop song, and I think some of the songs kind of fluctuate between having a bit more hip hop and grime or leaning more to punk rock. And I like the direction there, because it gives the songs this mysterious, unique flow. You wouldn't really know what to expect, and that's where it kind of hits you with some great ideas. Humble as the Sun is so different from any other track because of it, but then there's also some other tracks that dabble with a bit more hip hop. So you got a bit of that, and then some that just dabble a bit more with grime. It's a fun album, especially I do like the song Right Here, which, to be fair, it literally just samples the famous Fatboy Slim song Right Here, Right Now, with the bit repeating, which, I mean, it does take up a lot of the song, and it is literally called Right Here, but I think what Bob Vylan do with it, it makes it feel pretty refreshing to hear it. It's not a point of, oh, they're doing that, and you just kind of don't really care. It's more of a point of, oh, that's cool. I don't think it's impressive, though. I still think it's one of the weakest tracks, but I mean, I do enjoy this song still, so I mean, that's a good example of how to, even with something like that being one of the weakest, it does make for a pretty consistent listen, and a pretty fun one at that. Get Yourself a Gun is also a very, very fun song, and the message is pretty clear what that one's on about as well. I think the album is just a consistent flow of creative ideas that just flow into each other pretty well, and I think Bob Vylan got themselves a what seems to be another fantastic album. Again, I haven't listened to anything beforehand, but they've had so much praise. Literally, the last album won a Kerrang award for I think it was Breakthrough Artist or just Best Album. I'm assuming it's Best Album, I think, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't listened to it, but if it's just as good, if it's as good as this, if not better, then yeah, it's good. But honestly, with this record, it is pretty good. I might give it also a 3.5 out of 5, similar to what I gave Era, but I will say this is a stronger record. I think Era kind of lacked in some of the areas to make their album feel as refreshing as a follow-up, but Bob Vylan, I think, with the sounds they're going for, that they can easily keep expanding on it and still have a lot of stuff to show for it, and that's what I like about that. So yeah, that is my review. Hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.